It is a, oh gosh, I was overdue for doing a live stream. I'm just trying to get this adjusted here so I don't knock everything all over. Hope you guys are all doing well. It is kind of overcast and kind of nice and warm outside today, and I don't know, we're kind of just waiting on a big storm to hit. So I thought, what better time to come and do a live stream than from an electronic device on top of a tripod when there's a big thunderstorm approaching. Either way, it's been a little bit since we did a live feed. I wanted to talk about the last video I put out. So I know there's some of you at home are waiting for the next update on the Cadillac that we're restoring, and that will be coming soon. And I figured while the car is out getting repaired at Matt Shop, what better opportunity than to fix up a whole other car? So that's what we did. And I hope you enjoyed the Jag video that we put out. I know some of you aren't really into the car stuff, but that was a car that was pretty much forgotten and forlorn for like 30 years or so, and got it back on the road. It's now basically a daily driver, so it turned out pretty darn good. Hello to Rayleigh in Texas, and Matthew Fox is on. Nice to see you, Matthew. Haven't seen you in a little while. Matthew, are you in New York these days? Where are you situated? I know he was in New York for a long time. For those of you that don't know, Matthew, one of our moderators, was one of the firefighters on 9/11. And we're glad that he made it out of those buildings okay, but that he also spends time on our channel. He's just a wonderful person, and he's a excellent hard rock, what would you call it, like death metal singer, musician. He's in a band too, so he's an interesting guy, good guy. South New Jersey, he says. He said South New Jersey. And Vancouver Island. Oh, who's saying hello from Vancouver Island? Island girl. I'm gonna be back on the island again in next week. I did a video last time I was out there, and I had a very nice lady write me, and she said, oh, it's too bad you're not on the island. I have some stuff I would sell you. So I'm gonna go back just to basically see her. Plus I have family out there, so it's always nice to go see. RJ Spain says, I didn't see what happened to your Rolls Royce. You're talking about the raccoon Rolls Royce that from a few years back? We fixed that up and sold it to a colorful character in the United States. There's more to that story, but I'll leave it there. Tempe, Arizona on with us. Lots of people from Arizona. What's the temperature like in Arizona right now? Oh, and Monica Velt is with us from West Edmonton. Hello, Woody Two Shoes. Actually, we were just talking about you the other day, wondering what you're up to. Hamilton, Montana. Where's Hamilton, Montana? Don't know where that is. I've been, where were we last year? We went through Butte. And Bozeman is where my brother Steve is from. Bozeman's really pretty, by the way. I don't know if you've ever been out there. It's like this beautiful sort of town surrounded by mountains and scenery all around you. It's really, really, but a lot of Montana is really pretty. Oh, and I see Dale is on with us, One Turbo Brick. Hey, Dale. Dale was in our last video. He's the one that actually did a lot of the work getting the Jag recommissioned. So Dale, who's on the live chat right now, thank you very much. You know, the nice thing about doing these live chats and videos is that it's not just, a lot of times it's not just names. We get to know you guys. And it's been, how many years now? 9 years or so since we started the channel, something like that. And when I have a chance to try and get out and meet people down there as much as possible. 110 degrees in Arizona right now, wow. Stacy Hendricks, Bozeman, Montana. Oh, yeah, I was just saying how nice Bozeman is. Yeah, the lawn. This is the lawn that wasn't coming in before. I'm so proud that we have green grass. This was all mud. If you watch the series where we built this house, I was having a real hard time getting grass to grow back there. But persistence and lots of rain and some fertilizer, and we now have a thick carpety lawn back there. It's almost golf coursey. I'm so proud of it. Anyway. Of all the things that I care about right now, other than my family, of course, making the grass grow has been, maybe it's a guy thing. Do guys just like to mow the lawn? I don't know if that's a thing. Vivian says there's a cool antique store in Shawnigan Lake and some further north in Cobble Hill in Vancouver Island if you make it back. Yeah, well, I will be back in Vancouver Island next week for a couple days. So I am going out to visit a lady to hopefully buy some stuff from her. And yeah, then basically... I don't know, I'll have some time with my aunt, and it's always nice to see. I've got multiple aunts and an uncle out there. And Lila says, hello, hey, back at you. And then she took her message away. What, no hello anymore? Lilith, I was reading your comment. Retracted. And Mava says, got lucky to see you live from the start. So it is one of those things. I was kind of going through the yard. You can't see it because it's gone now, but we had a water tank. It was actually used at the airport. It was just like a little trailer with a water tank on it, and we were using it to collect water in, and unfortunately it got cracked over winter, so I just gave it away. It got picked up this morning, and I try and make an effort to go around the yard and get rid of stuff we're not using, because I don't want to end up having a scrapyard around here. But there's risk of that. Before too long you start getting more things than what you need. But let's see, can't see my guest shed from here. Matthew, it's right there. That's the, if Matthew, if you ever come to Canada, that's where you'd stay, is right back there. He always used to say, where's my guest house gonna be? Roy Ozer says, what's happening with the Lancia? I say sell it for a mint in the US, buy a bunch more old cars. How about a Peugeot 404 coupe? Don't worry, I'll go with the green grass obsession. I don't know if I will. I've had an obsession with green grass for a while. The Lancia is up for sale on Hemmings right now. The Lancia Flavia Zagato is up for sale. I couldn't put it on Bring a Trailer because I never did register it in Canada here. It's still, the last title was for Toli Aratunov in Oklahoma. So it'd be easier for somebody if they buy it in the US, because then you can just go in with the old title and it hasn't been registered anywhere else. You could just get a title for it. So the minute I register it in Canada, it's going to be a little more challenging, I think. But anyway, it's just sitting, waiting right now. Ordy says, I have a giant yard. Oh, that's good. We're happy with, you know, we've got just under 4 acres right now. So I don't do outside chats too often. So I thought, what a nice day to sit outside and chat with you guys. Hope you guys are all doing well, by the way. Okay, the last video I put out was me working on that old Jag. And again, a big shout out to my friend Dale in Calgary, who did wonders getting the car on the road in record time. I kind of jokingly said, because his shop has enough room for only a couple cars in it. I said, well, I guess the benefit of that is that you got to get my car out in a hurry. Ha ha ha, because you won't have room for other cars. And then he did. He got it out in a big hurry. So thank you again to Dale for getting the car out. It's always surprising to me how you would think that in time skill sets of trades would get better. And you'll see where I'm going with this in a minute. That, you know, you fine tune a craft and you get better, and then by now you think they could just do whatever. But that seems to be the opposite when it comes to body shops, because that Jag, when I bought it, if you haven't watched the video, you can go back and see what it looked like when I first bought it. It had a big whammy in the front end. It had a big dent. And I took it into 2 shops, and both shops said could not be fixed. They said you're gonna have to go find a replacement hood somewhere. And they do make a replacement hood, but the thing about the hoods on those vehicles is that you have to buy the whole front end of the car, because the fenders, the hood, everything is all integrated. So you're talking $15,000-$20,000 bucks for a hood. And I was discouraged, and so that's when I kind of got under my skin a little bit, that I could just do it myself. And it actually turned out pretty good. So never let somebody tell you that something can't be done. There's no reason why a piece of dented metal can't be straightened back out. I've seen actual body people do miracles, but every time I take the Jag out now, people really stare at it because they're trying to figure out where the dent was, because they saw the video or or they saw it when it was dented, and they're like, I don't even know where the dent was. The paint matched up really perfect. Oh, thank you, Matthew, for putting the video link up there. The paint matched up really good, and I'm just having fun driving it right now. It's not 100% perfect by a long shot, but it's certainly drivable, and I'm happy with that. Nice to see you too, David. David says, nice to see you this week. Wild Kingdom is in the Merman. Not in a while though. Jim says, is the garden over by the propane tank? Yeah, if you look right, see where my finger's pointing? Right by that shed back there, all the leafy big stuff there, that's all potatoes and squash. So from there, that shed, all the way over there is Melissa's garden. It's huge. And yeah, it came in really good. The only thing that we're having a bit of a struggle with is our corn. Last year didn't come up so good. We had one measly little bit of corn. It was like those little baby corns that you get like on like when you go to a Chinese food restaurant, you get the tiny little corns. That's like how big the corn came out. I ate it anyway. But we have one that's coming up pretty good right now, but the rest are kind of measly. And then I looked online, it said that corn needs nitrogen. And I looked at my grass seed that I had, and it's mostly nitrogen, so I put some of that over there. And Melissa was not super happy. She's like, I can't believe you put grass grass fertilizer. I think I said grass seed. I put grass fertilizer over in the corn. But what is corn other than giant productive grass, right? Right? Anyway, it said it needed nitrogen. The fertilizer for the grass is mostly nitrogen. So I guess we'll see. Now it's like a science experiment. If it dies, I will never hear the end of it for sure. Jim says Edmonton season isn't the best for corn. There are some really good cornfields around the country here where we are. We have a lot of canola. I don't know, what are you guys growing in your areas? I know when I lived in Manitoba for a while, there were sunflower fields everywhere. And it was so pretty to go and see all the sunflower fields in bloom. Is Melissa joining you? And Asher, no, Melissa's tied up in the house right now. And we get lots of light. Where that garden is, it's overcast right now because it is supposed to rain a little bit, but we normally get a lot of sun back there. So I think the corn will come in. I'll have to see if Melissa will do a video, an update video, and show you guys what that's all looking like. But yeah, talked to Heather today. I think she might come visit me in a bit. Hopefully in September, I'll have Heather come out. She's just trying to find time to get off work. I haven't seen her in a little while. Wheat. Oh, Jim says they've got wheat, canola, oats, barley, peaches. Oh, who has peaches and grapes and apples? You must be somewhere warmer. Was that like California or British Columbia? Corn and soybeans in the Midwest. We David says Melissa's tied up. Waka waka. No, she's occupied. She's in there making supper, and she's baking bread right now. She's been on a sourdough kick lately. That's the thing. Once you get a sourdough starter, you're pretty much just stuck making sourdough bread until the end of time. Do I have other brothers and sisters besides the US clan? I do have one older brother that I grew up with here in Edmonton. We don't chat a whole lot, and he's not been on the channel. I'm closest with actually my newfound American family. Steve and Heather are the two that I see the most. Stephanie says corn, potatoes, apples, and blueberries. Oh, so I don't know if you can see that. No, not that tree. No, you guess you can't see it. We have two trees in our backyard that are plum trees. So this is what we can grow here. We can't grow I don't think we can grow peaches here. I think it gets too cold. But we had a cherry tree that we put out front when we first built, and it put off, I don't know how many buckets worth of cherries this year, but we have cherry jam, cherry pie, like you name it. That one tree's put off so many cherries, it's enough to feed like a whole army. It's surprising how many cherries one little tree can put out. And then I'm looking back and we've got two plum trees that haven't started producing yet, but they got really big. So yeah, it is peaches, apples, pears. We can do apples. Yeah, Vancouver Island, you guys can grow pretty much anything there. Oh, we have some squash coming in, and tomatoes and raspberries too. Beth has squash, tomatoes, and raspberries. This is the time of year where a lot of my most favorite things are starting to come to fruition, literally. Raspberries are out, garden peas. Oh, I love garden peas. And going to the farmer's market this time of year is really exciting. And I forgot, this weekend, I'm really excited because I'm taking my red Alfa Romeo, the little red car that I have, going down to the Rockin August. It's like 1,000 cars that show up for this car show. It's a week-long event. They do like street dances and bands and all kinds of stuff. But I usually go to the main event, which is on the Saturday. And it's so much fun. How fun is it? It's so fun that my 15-year-old daughter was trying to get the day off of work so she could come to a car show. My daughter, who's not huge into cars, loves that show because there's so much going on. They made it a really good event for the family. And if you've never been to it, and if you have a chance to come to it, I'll be there this Saturday pretty much most of the day. I think 10 a.m. till 4 p.m. Either walking around or sitting there on a chair talking, you know, how old guys do. I'm one of those old guys now that just sits in a lawn chair and just talks about their car. I don't know if I mentioned this on a video or not, but I was at a car show and my friend also had a car there, my friend Scott. And I stood by it and I saw him walking up and I stood in front of his car and somebody asked a question about it. I pretended it was mine and gave really wrong information about it. Yeah, it's powered by a 1969 hamster, and it's got a big wheel under there. Just every kind of stupid thing I could think of. And he walked up right when I was doing that. So you got to mess with your friends if you're a car guy. That is kind of that is, you know, there's things you do and don't do at a car show. Pretending a car is yours and giving people false information. You can kind of only pull that off if you're friends with the person. But there was, they do a car show at an AMW here. And AMW in Canada is actually a big deal. It's like probably as big or bigger than McDonald's, I'd say. Like there's more AMWs, and they're like 1950s. If you know what an AMW is, it's like a hamburger joint. In the United States, they're usually shared, what is it, with like a Taco Bell or something random. It's like, they're not really the main event. But here, it's like a freestanding restaurant. You can go there in the morning, they give you actual plate and cutlery, and you can have a nice breakfast. And they've got really good burgers and root beer and stuff like that. Famous for the root beer. Anyway, Canada has a really big, I don't know, there's AMWs like everywhere, and they're really big into the car scene. So every Saturday in summer, some of the AMWs do a car show. And I was talking to this fellow who had his car at the AMW car show. He went to go in and grab a burger, and he came back out. And somebody was sitting in, somebody had put their kid inside of his car, and the kid was like making car noises and jumping all around. And he's like, whoa, like, what are you doing in my car? And the guy was like, well, you are at a car show. You got to expect people are going to do this. And then everybody's like, no, no, no. I guess all the other car people heard them having this conversation, and they had to educate the guy kind of on car culture. But that's so weird, isn't it? Like, what if the guy wasn't even there for the car show? He was just there getting a burger. Like, you don't walk up to somebody's car and put your kid in it. It seems like a great way to get your kid kidnapped. You don't expect somebody else's kid in your car and you drive away. Anyway, so somebody just said, T. Huerta said they're shared with KFC. Yeah, the AMWs here are very much like a proper sort of burger joint. I think they're better burgers than McDonald's. Maybe you don't think so. I do. I think it's better quality food. But we go to the AMWs with the old cars every so often, and it's usually a pretty good turnout. I missed the last weekend, though, because it was raining like crazy. And raining so hard, our son Jason was outside when this rain came, and it was like it was literally torrential downpour. And there was funnel clouds apparently spotted and stuff going on. Jason walks in, and he is just dripping wet. Like SpongeBob has stepped out of the ocean onto the shore. He's just nothing but water soaking everywhere. So, yeah, he got himself dried off, and yeah, it was just not a good time to be outside. Looks like your backyard is backwards in the video. Yeah, it's reversed because I'm on the reverse camera of the device right now. So, yeah, I was going to point to where that's actually over there, but for you, it's probably pointing the other way anyhow. Yeah, so imagine things on the other side. Oh yeah, I had that the other day. I was talking or something like this, and somebody said, "Oh, Alex isn't wearing his wedding ring." The camera's just reversed. This is my right hand right here. But I guess, yeah, oh, that's so weird. Yeah, that looks like it's my left hand. So I was like, how come Alex isn't wearing his wedding ring? No, it's just, oh, I guess this is my right hand. I don't normally wear a wedding ring on this hand. I wear it on my left hand, on that ring right there. Anyway, I'm still married, is the point of all this. Even though there's no Melissa physically in front of me to prove my marriage, she's had enough. One more car was too many for her, and she's out the door. Luckily for me, we had one of my son's friends was over, and his dad dropped him off here to come for a visit, and he was a car guy. And he said, how does your wife let you bring all these cars in? Like, I don't understand. Like, how is she okay with this? And I said, well, we've been together since we were teenagers, and it's been like this since then. So nothing surprising. If anything, I'm consistent, right? No reason. Would you ditch a guy because he likes old cars? I hope not. Anyway, don't tell Melissa if you would. I don't need the extra pressure. As she's in there making sourdough bread and supper while I'm out here talking to you guys. Marjolaine says, no as in you wouldn't ditch a guy if he liked old cars. There are some people who are just like, they really don't understand. And every time I do a video, I get some kind of comment about, I can't believe you're buying all this stuff. Like, if that was my husband, I'd kick him to the curb. And Melissa usually defends me. She's like, he doesn't keep this stuff, right? Like, this is our business. We buy and sell stuff. Oh, Willa's Dream says there's an A&W drive-in here in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. People coming to the EAA love it. Yeah, that's what ours are. Not really. They used to all be drive-ins, but now they're just a freestanding restaurant. But they always have a big parking lot around them. But they look like they're from the 50s, like the architecture. But they're really good. Mike says, I grew up a motorhead too. Yeah, ever since I was a kid. Started with Hot Wheels. Ed says, did you do well on the auction of your personal collection? Yeah, you know, yes and no. Some stuff sold for much less than what I probably paid for it. But at the end of the day, it was just sitting on shelves, and I'd rather put it to more productive use right now. So, you know, I know it seems like all I do is I buy stuff on all these videos, and you must think that I'm just obsessed with buying things. But I hope you know that the reason I buy stuff is to resell it. I have no desire to keep excess stuff at all, other than maybe cars. Okay, maybe I have a few too many cars, I guess. There's that. But I don't have a whole bunch of stuff sitting around. I don't like keeping a lot of clutter around. Our house is pretty minimalistic. I think anybody watching who's been over, I think my friend Dale who's on who's been over, we don't have piles and piles of stuff around. Let's see. Oh, Vivian, we're talking A&W still. A&W in the late 60s and 70s used to be driving. They would come out on rollerblades or roller skates, yeah, to your car window. Yeah, they used to do that, and then they'd put the big tray on the window. You remember that? They'd have a big tray that would go, like, clip right onto your glass, and then they'd put all this stuff. I don't know what the load-bearing capacity is of a driver's side window, but apparently in the 50s and 60s, it was like 300 pounds, because those A&W glass mugs are really heavy, and they would just load that tray up with stuff. I think you can still... They have the A&W in the glass mug still, but I don't know if they don't think they have the trays anymore. Island Girl says, my mom wore roller skates and then hung the tray on your window. Yeah, I can't imagine. I can barely carry a tray of stuff as it is, let alone skating around. Like, those people must have been, Vivian, your mom must have been part circus performer to be able to do that, because I can't imagine doing that. That's what we need. We need to get back to our roots of fun, right? What happened to fun? Why does everything have to be drive-through? Drive up was fun, you know? It was a whole event. The food would show up at your window. You talk to a human being. You pass the food all around. I don't know. They got to start doing stuff that's more fun again, you know? Everything got so boring, and, you know, I know that you can get stuff delivered to your door by drone, but what do they just want us to stay inside of our house all day long? Let's get out there and live life. I am, I don't know, I'm eager to find new places that open up and new places to experience. Oh, I have to give a shout out to a place on Vancouver Island. I did do a little bit of a walkthrough of it in a future video that's coming up. But there is a, it's like a little, I don't want to say grocery store, but kind of a grocery store on Vancouver Island called, I think it's called the Market Garden. Vivian, if you're on, or Island Girl, is it called the Market Garden? Do you know what I'm talking about? Anyway, I'm going to describe it to you. This environment, you walk into this place, and it was a grocery store like 100 years ago or something like that, but they renovated it, but they renovated it like an insane artist would renovate a place. It doesn't make any sense at all. Market Garden is incredible. Yes, Soul for Poetry says. You walk in, and it's like tiled sort of caves with apothecary jars of tea, and you go down this other aisle, and they've got this tunnel of wine, and then another area, and it's just a room stacked with like all the chocolates you can imagine in this beautiful packaging. And there's statues and sculptures and chandeliers, and every spot of that place is the Market Garden. Okay, every spot in there is just like artwork. You look somewhere and you're like, this is what an insane artist would do if they built a grocery store, because you can go there and you can buy meat and cheese and stuff like that. It's a little bit more on the expensive side because it is a bit more bespoke, let's say. If you have a monocle, you could shop there. No, but it's a really cool spot. Everything in there is just so beautifully packaged, and it's not even in a really, I wouldn't say it's in a necessarily a very fancy end of town, and the building on the outside looks kind of average, but you go in and it's just mind-blowing. And it just makes me think of how if you build an environment that's really cool, you charge a little more for your stuff, yes, but it's just such an interesting space. You know, here I am talking about it now. It leaves an impression, makes you want to go back, makes you want to tell your friends. Those are the things I miss about having a retail store, was creating an environment. And we used to really go all out and try and make our store an interesting environment for people. And I do miss that about it. We're talking about like making things fun, like, you know, when you go to a drive-in and somebody comes out on roller skates with your food. I'm just saying that I think humans ultimately just want to be in a cool space or do cool things and see neat stuff. And I don't think everybody wants to be sitting on their screens all day long and, you know, just having stuff delivered to your house all day. And as handy as that is, I get squirrely. Like if I don't go out somewhere in a day and get something accomplished, I feel like I haven't done much at all. Elizabeth says, we missed your store, Alex. It was cool. It was cool. And there's certainly a lot of times when I miss my store and I have these fleeting thoughts of like, well, maybe I could do something else. Right now, haven't committed. Maybe when I turn 50, maybe when I'm 50 years old, it means I got to start saving up if we're going to do something like that. But yeah, I just love providing cool experiences for people, you know. And that store is definitely experience. If you ever on Vancouver Island, visit the Market Garden and check them out. It's, even if you don't buy anything, just walking through that place is just phenomenal. But you should buy something if you go. Support local. By the way, hope you guys are all doing really well. I've kind of looked at the last little while and just thought I'm going to try and be as positive and to live my best life and to try and be as kind as possible. And I don't know. Jim says, how is the back after the injections? Actually a lot better, to be honest with you. I went in for my, I think it's cortisone, I don't even know. It could be tequila for all I know. They're putting something back there and it's working, you know. But yeah, I had my injections done a couple days ago. Every 4 months or so I go and get it done. And last time it didn't work so good. This time I feel actually pretty good. So I'm hoping I'm going to get a lot more active again and get out there again. And the first time I had it done, I went to Italy. So if you're wondering, why did I go to Italy that first time around? I haven't felt that good in years. And I thought, I want to go hike and do the trails and climb and explore and go do stuff. And Melissa wasn't all that keen on going because of the volcanic activity in that area. You know, something ominous about going to visit towns where everybody died there because of the volcano, which is still there. But I did go. Matthew says the shots helped him after he had a roof collapse on him during a fire. Yeesh. Yeah, yours is a better excuse for having a sore back, Matthew. Mine was, let's see, first time I threw out my back, I hopped a fence to get a football that I was playing football, and the football went over a neighbor's fence, and I jumped over the fence trying to be all cool. And my back went out. And the second time, the worst time, was I was working on a movie set, and we had this little ATV that we'd rented, and we were filming outdoors in the country, and it got stuck in mud, and we were really far away from set, and I had to get back. And me and my friend were trying to get the thing out, and it was all this heaving and hoeing and pulling and trying to get this thing unstuck. Completely threw my out, dislocated for the remaining 2 or 3 months that we were filming that movie. Never reported it to WCB because they said, do you need to report this to WCB? Because I was in a tremendous amount of pain. And I was maybe 19 or 20 or something at the time. I was like, no, I'll just walk it off, you know? You know, like how if anybody out there who was raised by baby boomers, or if you're a baby boomer that was raised by your parents, you know, there was a lot of walk it off. You know, your arm could be dislocated and dragging on the ground. Just walk it off. You think that's bad? I lost an eyeball 5 minutes ago, and your dad comes up with an eyeball on the end of a fork. Like everything was worse. Anyway, so I just thought I'd walk it off, and it ended up grinding away part of my lower hip joint, or lower spine, I should say. So anyway, you live with your decisions. Or if you're farmer stock, yeah. Yeah, if you ever see a farmer holding on to a wired fence and says, come hold my hand for a second, you know they're going to zap you with an electric fence. Rub some dirt on it. Actually, rubbing dirt on something is, that will, if you're all cut and bleeding, that will stop the bleeding. Probably give you all kinds of infections. Yeah, it's like the chemicals. I remember, not my dad, but my parents were more like, they had medicine and stuff like that. But my grandparents' solution for things were, their medicine cabinet, when you looked in, was, what was that horrible, not iodine. It was like, you put it on a cut or a wound and it would hurt 10 times worse. They had that stuff. What's it called? Anyway, somebody watching will know. Anyway, so they had that, or laxative. Oh, you got a sore throat here. Have some or mercurochrome. I don't know what it was. Methylate? No, it was something for like cuts and wounds, and it was terrible, and it stung really, really bad when you put it on. And apparently, monkey blood is what they called it. Hey, I don't know if Kathy Cash is on with us right now. Kathy, are you watching? Kathy's one of the only people I've ever met that had a pet monkey in her house. And, you know, celebrity aside, that's just such a random thing. That's such a random thing for your dad to do. And then you see, like, that was a thing that people did in the 50s and 60s. I don't know, where would you get it from? Like the back of a comic? You could order a monkey? But people would come home with pet monkeys. That was a thing that people thought was a good idea for a while there. And her dad, Kathy's dad, showed up with a monkey with a cowboy hat and a diaper. That makes me laugh so much because I can only imagine your poor mom. I can imagine Vivian just, oh no, like, what have I got myself into? So, yeah, every time I think of the dumb things that I do, I remember that Kathy's dad brought home a monkey. Amongst other things, you know, putting them on a side of a mountain with rattlesnakes and stuff. But that monkey thing always makes me laugh. Because the monkey, you got to think the monkey's just like making the best of its situation too. That's not a natural habitat for a monkey. What does it know to do with the cowboy hat? You know? And why were monkeys always on roller skates and smoking cigars? Why was that the funniest thing on earth in 1957? Like, where people didn't have much for entertainment then, I guess. It'd be like, hey, you know, it'd be real good. We just have a monkey come out smoking a cigar, and they'd just be on the floor barrel rolling. Monkeys don't smoke. That's a people thing. So stupid. But the stuff that was entertaining, you go back and you look at some of those early Ed Sullivan episodes, and people are spinning dinner plates and stuff, and oh, Nitrous Diecast says, I want a Planet of the Apes type monkey. What, one that talks and puts you in a cage? That doesn't seem very good. Yeah, Johnny Cash's daughter said their monkey would ride the dog. Yeah, no internet in the 50s. What are you going to do? Hey, this comic book says I can get laser beam goggles and a monkey. And what business was that? Could you imagine you're the guy who's like, where are you getting your monkeys from? For starters, how are they catching enough monkeys to advertise? Like, what are we going to do with all the... Bill, what were you thinking? I told you this idea was stupid. We import jugs. We import carved goods from Africa. What are we going to do with a container full of monkeys? So I got just a plan for that. You wait and see. It's going to be all the rage. And then where was the monkey holding facility? And what was that situation? Did they have them at the house? I can just imagine some guy formerly selling pens or something decides, I think I'm going to get into this monkey business. Maybe that's where the word comes from. That sounds like monkey business to me, because maybe that's not a great business to be in. But for a time, you could just get a monkey, I guess. Seems pretty random now. I say that. Now I know somebody who had a monkey. They'd import them from Africa. Though that's what I'm saying, though. Lila says they'd import them from Africa. That might be. But somebody had to hold all the monkeys in America while they distributed them. How? In the mail? Would they put a monkey in the mail? And your mailbox guy has a box with some holes cut in it, and there's a little guy wearing a fez with a little organ. Whoa, this is... Somebody's got a monkey today. How did that work? Where were I need to know details. Where was the monkeys? Where were they held? Was it like an outdoor thing? It would have to be indoors. They wouldn't have been set up for monkeys before. So was it like a warehouse that sold other stuff? Was it somebody's home? And he's like, listen, honey, I promise you. Okay, there might be 50 monkeys showing up tomorrow, but we're going to distribute them real quick. Like, imagine the explaining you'd have to do. Yeah, and they put chickens in the mail too. They would mail chickens. I don't know if they still do that. I think you can buy bees in the mail. Yeah, they used to sell baby chicks in the mail, but like, maybe that's where the barrel of monkeys, maybe that's how they transported them, was by the barrel full. And when you had to pull the monkey out to deliver it, that would be really difficult because they'd be trying to pull the other monkey back in. And somebody was like, this ought to be a game. We need details here. I don't know. So something, where do the monkeys go? Where are they now? You know, did they get let loose? You know, when I was on Vancouver Island, has these cute little salamanders, little reptiles all over the place. Apparently, they're not natural for that area. They have no natural predators in the area, and so now they're kind of taken over. Some guy had like one of those reptile zoo snake farms years ago, and he let them loose on the island. It reminds me of that Simpsons episode where Bart releases like a frog or something in Australia, and then it ruins all of Australia's crops. There's just frogs everywhere. That's what happened with Vancouver Island and salamanders. They're all over the place. These little cute. They're kind of cute. So you know it's a warm place when you have little salamanders and reptiles that live. But that said, we had some when we first bought the property. We had some in our backyard. We moved something and a bunch of little reptiles went crawling out from underneath. So, see, Michael Jackson had a chimpanzee. Yeah, Bubbles, right? Do you imagine the monkey being accidentally delivered to the wrong address? Yeah. So speaking of wrong addresses or stuff getting mailed to a different house, my dad, and I'm sure I shared this before, was a practical joker when he was a kid. He had these next door neighbors that he really didn't get along with when he was, I don't know, my dad was 9 or I don't know how old he was. I hate to think about how old he was. This is a terrible story, but the guy didn't like my dad and my dad didn't like him back. And let's say my dad was 12 or 13 years old. It had to be a little bit older. So because there was this kind of ongoing feud between my dad, my young teenage dad, and the next door neighbor's dad, whoever that guy was, who didn't like him, he would pull little tricks. Like he would, and maybe this is why he didn't like him. Every so often, he said my grandma made these cookies and they turned out too hard. And so he hid in the bushes and he would chuck a cookie at the door. And then the neighbor would come to the door thinking somebody was at the door and there'd be nobody there. And then he'd laugh and then he'd throw another cookie and come to the door. And then after a while, the guy just lost his mind screaming, who's out there? And where did all these cookies come from? So it started with that, fairly innocent, right? And then, I don't know, he annoyed my dad to some degree. And then my dad, in those days, you could order food and they'd do COD. And so my dad ordered like, I don't know, an entire van full of Chinese food to this guy's house. And he said you could see them eating leftover Chinese food for like a month. Never crossed a teenage version of my dad, apparently. But, yeah, there was, just, he had the Dickens in him, my dad did. And talking to my sister Heather and getting to know her, she's a practical joker at heart too. And I always send her like those little videos, like Facebook Reels and stuff of some goofy, somebody pulling a practical joke. And there was one I saw the other day where they made the guy, they had 2 Coke bottles tied onto a string and they put one on each of his hand. And then they put like a newspaper or something on his hand. And then they put this towel full of flour on top of the newspapers, and then they snipped the wires holding the Coke bottles and went wham right in his face. And I sent that to Heather, and the first thing she said is, okay, who are we going to do that to? And I said, well, you practice on Dorian, her husband. I said, you practice on him first and let me know how it goes. But I think it just runs in our family. But I'm not so much a practical joker. I am the receiver of pesting. Melissa is the pokiest, pestiest, prodder, finger poking in the ear, you know, stuff going on, just constantly. I seriously have like mild PTSD when she's around, and I say that lovingly, but she's such a pest, poking me in the side and stuff like that, and she means it with all the love, I'm pretty sure. But she'll do it until my brain breaks, and then she'll wait until my brain completely snaps, and then she'll stop. I'll have to give her an ultimatum. Like, I swear, if you give me a wet willy one more time, I'm going to get you back 10 times worse. And I will not even be sorry for doing it. And then she'll do it one more time. And then she'll go, okay, truce. It's the worst. You guys have no clue the torment that I go through. And she's not here to defend herself. But if she was, just know that she's guilty. Even if she defended herself right now, she's guilty. She's guilty. She knows what she did. And I'll probably get into trouble tonight even for talking about it. Anyways, so the news for me, here we go. The Jag that I fixed up is running and driving fantastico. It's il molto bene, signore. It's driving wonderfully. What is car in motor mechanica? I can't remember what car is now. It's a really weird word in Italian anyway. So the car's running great. I'm going out tomorrow to do the next update video on the Cadillac so I can get that done for you. It's out in Bruderheim right now, which is where Matt Hott, who has Strongest Garage and also has a YouTube channel. I think it's under Strongest Garage on YouTube. He's got the car and he's working on it. And we're gonna go check in on it and do an update out there. So I'm gonna take my friend Raymond with me, who I think has appeared in a couple videos. Raymond is really good with carburetors and adjusting triple or double carbs and syncing them all up. He's a whiz at that. So my friend Raymond's gonna come for a road trip. If you're a car person, I've taken Dale, who's on right now, out there. If you're a car person, it's worth it to see Matt's shop because he really has built something special there. I would say it's kind of the equivalent of like how I had my store set up like it was in the 1920s and made it an experience. Matt's done that with his shop, but he kind of just did it for himself. He didn't do it for anybody else to really come in and see it. But if you have a chance to go and see it, it's a really cool place to see. So I'm going to go out there tomorrow. So I got a road trip in the books for tomorrow. I'm going to pick up my friends, and then the rest of this week I got to kind of, I feel like I just haven't been connecting with a lot of my old friends. I haven't seen a lot of people I used to hang out with for a while. So my friend Dale, who helped me drag that old Volkswagen bus out of the woods, if you saw that episode, where we pulled a Volkswagen bus literally out of an icy field near the woods. I'm gonna go hang out with him on Friday a bit and just hang out with some friends and have some fun. So we're mostly staying around the house this summer, other than me going back to Vancouver Island again next week to specifically buy some stuff off a person. I had some travel points saved up, so it doesn't really cost a lot to get out there. And I can see my aunt again, which will be nice. So lots of good stuff planned. But guys, I guess that's kind of the update for me. Kids are all doing well. Jason's in university this year, taking sciences. Steven's going to a second year of university. He's taking summer school right now, but going to a second year of university coming up. Abiel's in high school still, but we've been teaching her how to drive, and hopefully she'll get her license at some point later on this year is the goal. And Melissa's doing okay. She's in there making bread right now. Josh is doing good. I was talking to him earlier. I was trying to entice Josh with, he said he wanted a Mustang too, in the worst way. And then I found somebody had one really cheap online. And I sent him the thing. And he said, why are you talking to me with this? I don't have money to buy a car right now. So I told him, Dad, don't give up, trade something for it. I bet that maybe he could trade a painting, or never give up, especially when you have a skill. And Josh is skilled as a carpenter. He's also skilled as an artist. You know, you can go back to the early days, you know, if you don't have money, you can trade this for that. So, yeah, so we got, just trying to stay in touch with people. Haven't talked to Hans too recently, maybe a couple weeks ago I chatted with him. He's doing okay. I don't know if he's said much on his Facebook page or anything like that. I know he hasn't done much for YouTube. So Hans will be the one to update you best on what's happening in Hans' life. But he seems physically well, and chatted with him a little while back. Talked to, if you didn't know this, there is a Curiosity Inc. fan page, and I always feel weird talking about it because it's weird to know that there's people that enjoy what you do, even though this is what I do. But they are called Curiosity Crew on Facebook, where people just kind of talk about the videos and the channel and stuff like that. The lady, Elaine, who put that together, is going to be in Edmonton next, in a couple weeks, I guess. And we're going to meet her for the first time. She's going to be in Edmonton. And yeah, we're going to hang out with her and see what's going on. Virginia says, you should consider being a stand-up when I turn 50. Oh, gosh. Yeah, you know, after being on YouTube for so long, you get used to people heckling you, so maybe I'd be all right. Bring back a buffalo to mow the backyard. Oh, that's funny. Somebody else just said, who cuts the grass? Let's see. Oh, Elaine says, I shared this to the Curiosity Crew fan group. Oh, thank you. Elaine's on right now. Hey, Elaine. So we're going to be meeting Elaine. And Elaine, I guess your flight is right around supper time, so maybe we'll have to do a lunch or something, but we can talk about that. She's been talking to Melissa. Melissa figures out all that kind of stuff. So Elaine, chat with Melissa, but we're thinking maybe we'll do a nice lunch together. That might be better because you might be at the airport when it's dinner time, but we can chat about that. We'll try and take you somewhere nice. Cindy has to go feed her sourdough. Oh, somebody said, I'm pretty sure you can still buy chickens in the mail. Another Sam says, who cuts the grass? I cut the grass. That's like one of my favorite things to do, is cutting the grass. It's a righteous passage for middle-aged men. When I go out and cut the grass, every other guy in my area is cutting their grass. You know what we do? We do the old wave. You know, it's like a Hank Hill from King of the Hill situation around here. All the neighborhood guys are out mowing the lawns, and we're all on our little riding lawnmowers, and we all wave at each other while we're mowing each other's grass. That's what happens. There's like a wave. When you're on a motorcycle, sometimes you do like the peace sign or the whatever from the handlebars. When you're in an old Jeep, you usually do it. I'm not cool. So when people are driving by and they do like, I don't know what a cool wave is. Maybe they're just like, no, that's a salute. See, I can't even think of a cool thing to do. Anyway, when they're doing their thing, like, I'm like this. Oh, hey, you like the Jeep? Cool. I like your car too. Your car's cool too. It's cool. So I have no chill. So I wouldn't even know where to start. Oh, I have to share this final story with you. Abigail, for whatever reason, my daughter Abigail, always witnesses me doing the most stupid thing. Like when I try and connect with another human being, she witnesses the worst fails. And then she gives me the look like, you know how teenagers do. How it's already bad enough that most teenagers think that everything a dad does is cringy anyway, let alone actually being a dad that does stupid, cringy things. But this is what happened recently. Okay, before, I think I shared the story that we were out walking our path and somebody told me that this neighbor we have was Dutch. He said, this guy, if you ever see him, he's a nice old Dutch guy. So I know a couple things in Dutch. So I see him and I go, goeiedag, goed gaan met jou. And he goes, what? Like, huh? And I'm like, oh, I thought you were Dutch. And he's like, no, I'm Swedish. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. He's like, I'm like, well, I don't know much in Swedish. He's like, no, I speak German. I'm like, I'm so confused. I'm so confused. And Abigail's looking at me like struggling to just make conversation and live my life. And she was just laughing at me. Well, this kind of thing happened to me again the other day. We went to the Goodwill to donate some stuff. The kids had clothes they want to get rid of. So we go to this Goodwill in the West End. And I decided, okay, we're going to go in. So I'm in there. And there's this old man, and somebody's donated a piano, and he's sitting at the piano. And this is the sort of stupid thing I do. You know, when there's like people who just talk to other people for no reason, I guess I'm that person. So I can't leave well enough alone. Incidentally, my family's off looking at clothes and doing other things, and I'm by myself, so I think. And I see this guy sitting there, and I go, you know, you're going to have to play us a song if you're sitting at that piano. And he ignores me completely. Goes like he doesn't even flinch, doesn't even look up from his phone, nothing. And because he just didn't acknowledge my existence, I turned and probably went, oh, like this. And right then I look and Abigail standing there like this. Oh, Dad. Every time my social failures. So that's all right. I own it. I was trying to be the chatty, funny guy. And in some other situation, the guy might have been like, oh, you don't want to hear me play piano. Or maybe he would have played something. I don't know. Could have led to something. Guy sitting at a piano, thought it'd be funny to say, like, play us a little song, you know, like how dads do. And it failed. But why? Every time I do these things, does Abigail witness it? It's like my curse. Anyway, guys, they're calling for rain pretty soon up there in the sky. So far, not yet. I've had a chance to chat with you. Melissa is giving me the signal. She's done with all the baking and all the things in there. So I'm going to go and connect with the family, have some dinner. I hope you guys are all doing well. And by the way, thanks for watching. I really appreciate you guys with us. Some of you have been with us for almost the whole decade that we've been around. And we're still out here doing our thing, still putting videos out. So guys, thanks again. Stay tuned for more episodes. And as always, bye for now, guys. Bye, everybody.